Jai Hind children. In the last class we have learnt about acids and bases. So we are going to continue the same today with a new topic, salts and neutralization reactions. In the last class we learnt about pH scale. pH scale is the measure of how acidic or basic water is. The range goes from 0 to 14. The pH P stands for potence, which means power of hydrogen. P means power, H for hydrogen. So pH generally ranges from 0 to 14. 0 being very acidic and 14 being very alkaline. So from 0 to 7 the pH acidic. If it is 7 it is neutral. If it is from 7 to 14 it is called as alkaline or basic solution. Is this clear? So this is about pH scale. The more the value 7, it is alkaline. Let's learn about acids. In particularly, acids gives H plus ions. H plus means hydrogen ions. These are the examples of some strong acids. In the last class we have learnt about the organic acids which are available in the food items like oxalic acid and lactic acid, malic acid, tartaric acid, etc. They are the organic acids. Here are the examples I am showing which are mineral acids which are available in the laboratory and made from the mineral sources. So even acids can classified into strong acids and weak acids. Examples of strong acids are hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, sulfuric acid. And weak acids examples are oxalic acid, acetic acid, formic acid. I am showing few examples which we are going to learn in detail in the further slides. So do remember what are strong acids and what are weak acids. So whatever it is, whether it is a strong acid or the weak acid, if that compound is going to release H plus ions on the dissociation. It means, for example, if you take hydrochloric acid HCl, if we dissociate it, it is going to release H plus ion and chloride ion. Same thing with the nitric acid. If you break it, dissociate it, we are going to get H plus ion and NO3 minus ion. Like that. Same with the acetic acid, oxalic acid and formic acid. They will release H plus ions on dissociation. And next about the bases. Bases on dissociation gives OH minus ions. Usually the bases name ends with the suffix hydroxide. OH means hydroxide. So the examples of bases are sodium hydroxide, barium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. If you see, all the bases have OH ions in their structure. And one example of the weak base we have here is ammonium hydroxide. So whatever the base it is, when we dissociate it, we are going to get OH minus. Whereas in acids we got H plus ions, in bases we are going to get OH minus ions. When such acids and bases react with each other, the acid which gives H plus ions, the base which gives OH minus ions, when they react with each other, they will form a compound called salt along with the water. So what is salt? Salt is an ionic compound formed when acid and base reacts with each other. During this process, water is also produced and in addition heat is also liberated. This reaction is called neutralization. Why? This is because here P acid which is having the very low temperature, low pH, base which is having more than 7 pH value, when they are mixed up, the pH is going to become neutral. So that's why it is called as neutralization reaction. But all salts cannot be neutral in nature. Before that, let us discuss some examples of this. We will take an acid HCl, hydrochloric acid, which is a strong acid, NaOH, which is a base. When we mix this one, this will first dissociate. HCl will dissociate into H plus and Cl minus. Base will dissociate into Na plus and OH minus. Now they will start exchanging. This Na plus will attach to the chloride ion and OH will go and bind to the H plus ion. So H plus OH becomes H2O, water as usual, whereas Na plus Cl becomes NaCl, which is a salt. This is the salt called as a common salt which we will use in our home, salt. Another example for this is HNO3, nitric acid. When reacts with base called sodium hydroxide, it gives water and also salt called sodium nitrate. So is this clear? Now there are different types of salts. As I told you, all salts cannot be neutral in nature. Even the name says that neutralization, but all salts cannot be neutral in nature. There are different types of salts: neutral salts, acidic salts, basic salts. Neutral salts are formed when a strong acid and strong base are added to each other. Then it forms neutral salt. Whereas acidic salts are produced when strong acid reacts with weak base. So which one is strong here? Acid. So the salt formed will be having the pH of acidic nature. Whereas base, quite opposite to the acidic salts. Here acid is weak in nature and base is strong. When strong base reacts with weak acid, it forms the basic salts. Neutralization in our daily life. This neutralization is helpful in our daily life in the form of curing indigestion problems. Our stomach releases hydrochloric acid. When we have improper eating habits, the HCl released will try to harm the surface of stomach. Then it causes indigestion. So for this, the doctor prescribe us antacid tablets or syrup, which contains base called as calcium carbonate. So this calcium carbonate, which is a base, reacts with acid, strong acid, hydrochloric acid and neutralizes acidic effect. So in this way we are going to get relieved from the acidity. Next one is insect stings. Usually whenever honeybees bites us, we will get the irritation. This is because they inject formic acid into our body. This formic acid causes the irritation on our skin, even pain. So to reduce this, to relieve from this pain, we have to apply some base. Like if it is readily available, we can apply toothpaste, which is a base, and baking soda or calamine solution. If you visit a doctor for this, he will suggest the calamine solution, which is nothing but contains zinc carbonate, which is a base. So when this base is added to acid, so it is going to neutralize this acidic effect and the pain is relieved. And next one is nettle leaf. This is the nettle leaf. Even we can see this in our surroundings. This is what we call in Telugu Durda Gunta Aku. Right, whenever if you touch this leaf, we are going to get the sensation of itching. So this leaf has actually very small thin hair like structures, right? When we touch the leaf, these trichomes, these hair-like structures will inject formic acid, which is also called as methanoic acid, into our body and causes the pain of itching. So to relieve from this pain, we can use baking soda or dock leaf so that we can get relieved from the pain. Next use of the neutralization is factory waste. So the most of the waste coming out of the factories contains acidic substances. If they are reaching the water, they are causing the water pollution and also affects the water life there. So to prevent these, factories has to treat the waste before releasing into the river. The treatment should be carried out by adding a base such as slaked lime. So when this base is added to acidic waste, it will get neutralized, so there is a less effect on the aquatic life in the water. And next one is soil treatment. Usually the plant grow better in the neutral soils, but due to the excessive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, the soil is becoming acidic in nature. So to make it neutral, the farmers use bases like quicklime, which is calcium oxide, or slaked lime, calcium hydroxide, or chalk, which is calcium carbonate. The same thing we can do if the soil is having the basic nature. We can add acidic compounds to it to make it neutral in nature. Summary of this session is every living being carries out their metabolic activities with an optimal pH range. Everything requires particular pH. Beyond this, it won't function. Like our body has pH of 7 to 7.8. So everything then only they can carry out particular chemical reactions. And acids and bases react with each other to form corresponding salts and water. This reaction is called as neutralization reaction. And thus formed salts are of three types: acidic, basic and neutral salts. These salts or neutralization reactions have different applications in our daily life. So I hope you understood everything clearly. Based on the class, you have to complete this assignment, which were based on the learning outcomes. First one is define neutralization and describe the process of neutralization, giving an example. And next you have to identify the type of salt here, and the next slide is going to give some work for you. So this is the picture. You have to identify and correlate with our discussed topic and explain how it is related to the topic. And next, have fun with this puzzle, and I hope you understood everything. If you have any doubt, post your doubts in our WhatsApp group so that I can reply to you. This is for today, and we will meet you in the next session with a new topic of new lesson. Have a great learning time. Jai Hind.